Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this day. It is another beautiful day out. It will be once the fog parts. I'll tell you all about the weather in just a moment. On our show today, we have Dr. Brian Kim from Harvard Eye Associates, and he is going to talk about low vision devices. How if your vision is not really that great, there are many different ways that can help you read books, watch TV, all kinds of things. So we'll talk about that. Also, we're going to have on a guest from GrandPad. Now, you may not have heard about this, but it's basically a tablet that's very easy to use, and it's designed for older seniors that may not be comfortable using iPads or Amazon devices. So we'll introduce you to that and find out more about it. Then we have a guest on from the wonderful Lion Air Museum in Martin Aviation, which is, of course, out at John Wayne Airport. If you've never been to there, it is absolutely spectacular. The history behind both Lion Air and Martin Aviation. Martin goes way, way back in the history of this area in Santa Ana and what used to be the Santa Ana Airport. So Lisa's going to talk with that gentleman, and tell you all about it. Now, there are no meetings today, no open meetings, so let's get right to the weather. And we've got some beautiful weather again. You know, you've seen this pattern. It's going to continue. The morning fog gives way to beautiful days. It was actually warmer by about 2 or 3 degrees than I said yesterday because the fog parted a little bit sooner, and that's really going to be the case over the next several days. We're going to hovering in the upper 70s, maybe 80, 81 tomorrow. Maybe possibly a little bit cooler as we get to the weekend. You can see Saturday there. But again, it just depends on this pattern here. Now, that high pressure system has gotten a little bit larger and moved off our coast a bit. So therefore, as it spins, you can imagine it's spinning a little bit of breezes that are coming into probably the Santa Barbara area, then spinning around down into our area, basically going from north to south. So there could be a little bit of breezes, but you saw yesterday what was happening was we're getting some of the onshore breezes really on Sunday and Monday morning. Then we're getting a little bit more of an offshore pattern, not strong at all, as we made our way into the afternoon yesterday. So again, everything's going to be pretty much the same. The difference is, you know, 5 degrees here and there, just depending on how thick this marine layer is. Let's look around Orange County and elsewhere. And again, today the temperatures are a little bit higher, especially at the beaches, by probably about 4 degrees. Now, yesterday I had the average temperature for the beaches of about 68. They actually got up to, I would say, closer to about 72. So I got 74 today, and all the temperatures are up probably, I'd say, compared to yesterday by about 3 degrees as this high pressure system begins to expand. Again, it's not a real powerful high, and it's off our coast, so not a lot of wind associated with this. Palm Springs, however, staying in the triple digits, and I think as they get to the weekend, they might sneak down to maybe about 99 or so. But you know, once you get past 102, 103, who's counting, right? So they're 111 out there today, though. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
Health is important, and it can be tough to find the best fit for your needs. Flora Stenger General and Specialty Dental Practice covers most of my dental needs in one location. Their on-staff specialists provide seamless services and communication between me, my doctors, and my insurance company. Located right down the road from Laguna Woods, our bus service stops right in front of their building. For the first time, I'm getting the dental care I need with the treatment I deserve. And my dental health has never been better. Call and book your first appointment today. I'm glad I did.
Managing your own medication can be stressful. For decades, we have watched you stand in line at your local pharmacy and battle with insurance companies, all to be left with the difficult task of organizing, managing, and remembering to take your medication. AmeriPharma offers a new way of simplifying the lives of you and your loved ones.
In previous years, I didn't require any prescriptions, but now I have to take about 7 or 8 due to various conditions. It's a management problem. My nurse told me about AmeriPharma's MedBox. I switched over. Boy, am I glad I did. It's really easy to use, and it's solved all my problems.
Get your medications delivered to your door. You'll receive your pre-sorted med box that easily allows you to tear and take the required medication regimen at the plainly printed date and time. AmeriPharma MedBox, the new standard in medication management.
The eye care experts at Harvard Eye Associates have been treating the vision of patients in Southern California for over 30 years. As a leader in multi-specialty eye care, our doctors specialize in cataracts, glaucoma, retina, cornea, LASIK vision correction, oculoplastics, and diabetic eye care. As an approved FDA research center, our doctors offer surgical techniques and technology not available to the general public. Harvard Eye Associates, the future of vision today. Laguna Hills, San Clemente. Call 800-974-EYES.
Well, with me once again is Dr. Brian Kim from Harvard Eye Associates, and if you've been watching us over time, you probably know him well. He is kind of a, well, I want to say, you know, we're talking about low vision aids, but you do so many different things for Harvard Eye, as all the doctors do. And how long have you been with him? I want to say since he was a little kid, because of course his dad is one of the doctors, one of the founders, right?
Pretty close, yeah, it's pretty close. It feels like a part of my family,
yeah,
for sure.
Well, Harvard Eye is fantastic, and it's great to have you here today.
Oh, thank you.
And we're talking about something, low vision aids, that can really help people for macular degeneration and other things as well. And I want to say well, obviously they're non-invasive, but we're not talking about surgery. We're not talking about something like this. We're talking about either wearable devices or screens or something like that, right?
Right, exactly, yeah. The low vision device market right now is fairly limited in what we can do. And you know, for the past few years, we've come on the show, and yes, we've discussed macular degeneration several times, and I know you and your viewers are all very aware that it's a very difficult problem to treat.
Yeah.
And for things like dry macular degeneration, boy, it's one of those things that you just, there's no real good treatment. You know, and humans are the only species on the planet that get dry macular degeneration.
Yeah, explain the difference between wet and dry. Though we don't have a slide for that, you've talked about it in the past.
Sure, yeah, dry macular degeneration, I explain it as kind of like tires in a car. And the longer we go in life, the tires just sort of wear down.
Right.
And unfortunately, because we are the only species on the planet to get dry macular degeneration, we are not able to experiment very readily and find new technologies or new medications to slow that or help that. Now, wet macular degeneration, a few people will convert from the dry kind to the wet kind, meaning that that's sort of like running out of gas, meaning that will stop your car sooner and faster, stop your vision sooner and faster. That we do have treatments for to slow that process down.
Okay.
But we're still at a lack of, overall, there is still a decline, slow progressive decline over the years, which we just cannot seem to fix.
Between the two, wet and dry, which is more evasive?
Well, right now, wet macular degeneration is more invasive as far as well, as far as the severity of it, number one. But number two, the treatments are typically invasive treatments. And over the rest of your life, typically. So it's not something that we'd like to do, but if it keeps our vision around, that's what we've got.
Yeah.
So I thought this is one of my passions actually, is to try and help solve this problem of low vision. Central vision loss, or acquired central vision loss, primarily macular degeneration, but this can occur in things like macular holes or macular puckers or anything that involves the macula, really. But right now I'm studying in particular in macular degeneration. And so I've been working with a team of people and to try and develop a solution for this. Typically what happens is when you develop a certain level of low vision, we have you see a low vision optometrist or a occupational therapist or somebody who can help you to navigate the world and try and figure things out, find ways to make your life a little bit easier.
Right.
But we don't have any ways to really fix the problem. We see stem cells coming up, but we're still a long ways off from that. And me as a physician, I really just hate to tell my patients there's nothing that can be done. I actually really, it's a pet peeve of mine. And I like to help people as much as we can. And to be perfectly honest, what we're seeing is we can help. There is always something that can be done, even in patients with end-stage macular degeneration.
Okay.
It's just a matter of having to think outside the box.
Okay.
So right now, when we talk, and we have several low vision devices.
Yeah, on the next slide we'll show some that I think people are probably in one way or another familiar with. Not that that they may have to use these at this point, but they've seen them.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, either they know somebody with it, or it just intuitively it makes sense. But when you lose the fine resolution of the center visual acuity, you need things like magnifiers or bright lights for reading. For distance, you need things like telescopes or bioptic telescopes, or something that you have to see, magnifies things far away. If you want to try to read something large print, like a magazine or a newspaper, you need something like a closed circuit TV, or something that you can play something on a very large display. But the problem with all of this, as you're figuring out right now, and you can see intuitively, is that you need one device for whatever task you're doing. Meaning, if you wanted to go to the ball game and you wanted to read the program and watch the players on the field, you'd have a real hard time doing that without bringing a whole, very large luggage with you.
Yeah.
So a team and I have been working for the past couple of years now, and we've worked on tirelessly to try and come up with a software solution, and we've paired up with a hardware group to bring augmented reality, a wearable device. Now, some people, I don't know if everybody's familiar with augmented reality, but what it is it places a screen in the middle of your vision, such that you're able to fuse the rest of your vision with an augmented or an altered center vision.
Right.
And what we do with that vision is we change it. So the middle of your vision is not functioning. And what we do is we take that central information and we optimize your peripheral vision. So we can even push it into the peripheral vision or enlarge things selectively. Where our technology has the advantage of is that when you use a magnifying glass, and anybody who's used a magnifying glass on paper knows that if you're trying to read a sentence or something, you lose context.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Even when you showed those devices of the magnifiers, when people read, you're reading a book or you're reading maybe you're reading on a tablet or whatever, you brought up a very good point. People's eyes kind of scan ahead just a little bit as your brain is processing.
Right.
And in a sense, even though we don't do it purposely, we all kind of have a little speed reading sometimes, because you're getting, it's like when we read a word, a lot of times we aren't reading the letters, we're seeing the shapes of those letters, and our brain instantly knows, well, that's the word.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. And right now what the magnifier does is it forces you to read one letter at a time.
Yeah.
And then there's the additional problem of, well, when you hit the end of the line, how do you know which line you were on? Because everything is so magnified, you lose that spatial awareness. So what we've done is selectively magnified the center of our vision, and been able to, and keeping the peripheral vision in place such that you know where you need to go next. So it's a very exciting technology, and we've started demoing it, and I know I'm hoping several of your viewers right now are watching because they've been a part of the demo process and have had good success with it so far. So
how does this work? I mean, is it a pair of glasses or what's going on here?
It is. It's essentially a pair of digital glasses.
Wow.
They're the small screen inside, and
like Google Glass in a way?
Something similar, a little bit larger form than that. But yes, it basically takes the world around us and alters that, and it basically it feeds the information to us in a different way, but it gives us all the information. Just
but
like
it's still going through your eyes. This
Absolutely.
isn't any kind of an implant or anything
No,
like
this
that.
is non-surgical. This is a very low risk. If you don't like it, you take it off.
Yeah.
So if we get uncomfortable, you take it off, and you can reset and rest. So
that's remarkable.
So that's the advantage of this over, of course, a clinical trial of surgeries or something that's high risk, or something that you don't know what the outcome could be.
So right now, they're not trials so much as you put on their evaluations. You want to see, how do we tweak the software? How do we tweak the hardware? And how do, basically.
That's exactly right.
It's in beta mode.
That's exactly right. We're doing our testing right now, and we've gotten a couple people who've never been able to read their prescription bottles to be able to read those.
Wow, that's impressive.
And so very important things, and increase the functionality of people's lives. So as we develop this device, we're going forward, and we're doing our clinical trials currently and starting that. So And so we're, you know, if any of your viewers are interested in that or know anybody who would be interested in that, that's
wow, that's amazing.
Something we're looking forward to doing.
Now, once you go through all this process, what do you see how to get this out? Will it be by prescription, do you think? Or I should say, well, yeah, kind of prescription. Nobody's going to be able to just go to a place and buy it.
Sure, that's right. This is
at least at this point. I'm sure 10 years from now they probably will.
Maybe, yeah.
But
so, and that would be great. The more widely available, the better. This is something that's, you know, this is not a harmful thing. It's similar to like a hearing aid.
Yeah,
it's, you know, it's a vision therapy device.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
But yeah, this would be through the channels of through your optometrist or your ophthalmologist or your retina specialist or somebody who's very in tune with how impaired you are with the functionality that you're having difficulties with. So, but yeah, we are currently in testing and clinical trials now, and we should be in market available to everybody hopefully by the Q4 of this year. So end of the year.
Impressive.
So, but yeah, a big project of mine and just a passion, and just the results so far are just really quite good.
It shows where how far we're going, and we were talking beforehand that before we came on, how if you remember the show Star Trek Next Generation, you had the Geordi character, LeVar Burton, who was in that, and he had those visors with the implants. Well, that's not out of the realm of possibility anymore, you know, 10, 20 years from now. And in a sense, a lot of times they find even better solutions, the way to do something, and it looks like you're on that path right now.
That's where we'd like to be. Yes, we're certainly developing that, and yeah, I mean, every year it brings new technology and new solutions, and so yeah, the company that we've started, Idaptic, has been just instrumental in doing this, and
well, with AR, the possibility. I mean, we're in the infancy of that right now.
Yeah, it's it really is quite amazing. It's reminiscent of the Olympics. I don't know, that we just saw in their opening ceremony was all augmented reality, and it was just such an amazing technology, and it's nice to be able to bring that to fruition for a medical need.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Fantastic. Well, if you are interested in getting on this evaluation, the main number for Harvard Eye, 949-951-2020. And if you forget the name of this, just say we saw Dr. Kim on this day. He was talking about this new device that can help folks see better. I think if you go there, they'll know what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
All right, because they might forget the name, but it's Idaptic. So if you remember that, you're good to go. Always good.
Great.
I love the technology that Harvard Eye, but also Orange County, this whole area is advancing when it comes to our site. So it's just the start of it.
Just the start.
Yeah. All right. Good to see you. We'll be right back. Hey Laguna Woods, it's Ken.
And Lisa.
Did you miss an episode of This Day? Not to worry. Head over to youtube.com and search Village Television.
Here you can find each episode of This Day and other community programs such as Good Day OC, Discovering Laguna Woods, and much more.
Just click the red subscribe button, then click the bell to be emailed every time we upload a video.
Don't miss out.
And subscribe today.
At El Toro Pharmacy, your health needs and your quality of life is our top priority. We can be trusted with all your prescription needs, delivered free to your doorstep. Call us to have your prescription transferred. We will take care of everything. No hassle to you. We are a full-service pharmacy carrying all your over-the-counter medicines at competitive prices. And we offer complete diabetic care and your immunization requirements too. Under new management, come visit us in Moulton Plaza. El Toro Pharmacy will never be undersold, and we offer the finest after-sale services.
I'm Dr. Trin. You may know me from Memorial Care, Alzheimer's Orange County, and Irvine Clinical Research. Alzheimer's is the third leading cause of death in Orange County. The problem is, we're making this diagnosis way too late, after the damage is done. We don't want to wait for this to happen. We want to catch this early. Please come see me for a free consultation and discuss ways to minimize your risk for Alzheimer's disease.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Kim Bermude with the Orange County Sheriff's Department. We've seen an increase in phone scams where con artists pretend to be someone they are not including law enforcement officers. Don't be a victim. Trust your instincts. If a call seems suspicious, it probably is. For example, the Orange County Sheriff's Department will never require payment over the phone. If you receive one of these calls, contact the Orange County Sheriff's Department as soon as possible and visit our website to learn more about scams.
Hi, I'm John Bowser Bauman. You probably know me best as Bowser from Sha-Na-Na, but I'm also president of Social Security Works PAC. And you know, when I'm in Laguna Woods, I always watch Village television. Grease for peace.
Welcome back. With me right now is Dr. Carrie Burnite. Now, I looked at this name, but I came across my notes for yesterday, and I thought this name sounds really familiar, but the company, GrandPad, that we're going to talk about, I was like, okay, I've never heard of this. Well, of course, it turns out Carrie's been on many times before. She's a gerontologist. She's been with UCI, but now you are with a company called GrandPad.
Yes.
Good to see you again.
So good to see you. My favorite.
Yeah, it's great to have you here today. So let's talk about how this came about, and of course, people, you know, I'm going to hold it up here, and at first glance, you might say, was this an iPad? Is this a Kindle Fire? Whatever it might be. And while the form factor is very similar,
yes,
it's not.
Right.
So how did this come about? How did you get involved?
So I spent 19 years as a university professor, and what I found is that chronic loneliness was actually killing my patients.
Right, yeah, you're absolutely right.
And it was the biggest risk factor of elder abuse. And here we had technology, but it was never designed in a sophisticated way for us users. And so when I learned that these technology experts were going to create something from scratch that was a complete solution, I looked at it and I was blown away. It looks the same and is different in every way.
Okay, so tell us, what are the advantages to this? Now, I went online and I looked at your website, and you said the average age would be somebody maybe like 82 or above.
Yes.
So most, you know, basically even on your website, you're saying what I would call the younger seniors, they're more in tune to iPads and things like that. They're young enough that they've handled them a little bit more, handled computers and kind of moved into the things. But when I look at somebody like my dad, who is 88, and even though my brother got him a very simple computer, we even got him, I believe, like a used iPad, you know, he's lost on it.
Right. And it is not the fault of the senior.
Yeah.
We need to be designing in a sophisticated way that is designed for older adults. So what we did was we created everything from scratch so that the screen is sensitive to our fingers, the speakers that are in the front so we can hear it.
Okay.
You need not worry about passwords. You need not worry. You only have connection with people in your circle of trust.
Okay.
So that the scammers, that is this multi-billion-dollar industry of scamming people, they're locked out of this.
Okay.
And what's nice is that family members with their traditional devices can instantly send pictures or connect.
Okay.
And my favorite is, if I could use a little story.
Of course,
I have
please.
a dear friend who lives back east, and she's a little bit hard of hearing, as 50% of us are. And with one touch of a button, she's able to press a button and we do a video call. And with it, we can read each other's lips more carefully. And we even have real-time texting. So if I were to say October and she thought that I said November, which looks similar, I can type in October so that she knows.
Oh, very nice.
I'm watching it revolutionize the way we're aging. Okay,
so what I want to find out is how somebody, they would get this.
Yes.
And now again, I read online and I looked, and my question is, you folks chose to go with a 4 for LTE,
Yes.
which is cellular, rather than Wi-Fi. And I'm wondering what the reasoning is for
It's
that.
such a really good question.
Okay.
So the reason we did that is that we listened deeply to hundreds of adults aged 75 to 114.
Okay.
And what they said was, I want to be able to connect. I don't want to have to worry about what, connecting with the internet and the password and the
Okay.
cords. So everything we did is to take the headache away.
Okay.
And Einstein said, the greatest sophistication is simplicity.
Right.
And that's exactly what we've been trying to, it's really hard to
Okay.
make something so straightforward.
All right.
Yeah, so wherever you go, you can take this to the doctor's office, and let's say your adult daughter who lives in Florida wanted to hear what he was saying, you could press a button and the doctor is
Very
talking to
nice.
both of you. We know that chronic loneliness, which 43% of seniors experience, is the same as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Wow.
So
That's incredible.
I left academics in order to be part of the solution,
Yeah.
where we can improve the lives of millions of seniors. And I can see Laguna Woods being the hub of this revolution.
Well, I know, Carrie knows her stuff, because not only with UCI, and I believe you've come on talks when we've had the Senior Summit and the Council on Aging and all these things
Yes.
you've been connected with. Am I right?
That's right.
Yeah, so I know you know this very well. So you've helped create something that, again, may look like a standard iPad, actually looks more like a Kindle Fire, but you've designed it that it kind of locks down certain aspects of what these other tablets open up, which
Yes.
can open up a whole new world, but also people, as easy as an iPad might be, people can get lost in it and hit something and go, okay, why aren't my texts going through now, or something
That's
like
right,
that.
and we wanted everything good. 30 million songs, engaging interactive games, pictures sent daily from your grandkids. You can send pictures, a magnifying glass, all these wonderful features without the bad, because there's a
Okay.
multi-billion-dollar scam business.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
and
I get it all the
greatest
time.
way
Yeah.
it's through tablets and computers.
Yeah.
So after I was the director for 15 years of the nation's first Elder Abuse Forensic Center, and I would sit and think, we need to stop these perpetrators before
Right.
it even starts. So it took a lot of work and sophistication to design something with all the good without any of that bad.
Okay, let's talk about two things. Number one, let's talk about the other end of it, the app that
Yes.
people can get on any phone.
Yes.
And my first question is with that when their grandparent, whoever it might be, texts them, it goes through that app. It's not going through their iPhone iMessages or the Android message or
Yes.
Facebook Messenger. So that person at the other end they're gonna load that app. They're
Yes.
gonna need that. Now, would notifications for them pop up, meaning, okay, Grandpa just sent me this, and then when they hit that, it's going to go right into that app.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what we did is, so if I'll take myself as an example, I am 50 and my mom is 90.
Okay.
So I'm not 20, I am not the most sophisticated, I don't live for technology by any means. So what's nice on my phone, I could, in a simple press, download the app or application
Right.
on my phone, and then when I take a picture, I press one button, and my mom, through the wonder
Right.
of technology, instantly gets that picture. And so a
Okay.
lot of times I'll be at a soccer event, I'll send a video, and my mom real time can then watch the video.
Okay.
So it's bringing us closer together, and technology that unites humans is what I'm all for.
Okay.
I don't want a robot caring for my mom. I want a way to use technology to connect humans.
Okay. So who sets this up? And
I
again,
love that question.
the grandparents live here. Let's say
Yes.
the kids live across the country. Who sets this up for them? And obviously, any device needs what's called an IP address.
Yes.
So therefore, the people at the other end know how to connect to that particular and one and only device. And
Yes.
there's another question I have in there too. But can I ask the third one?
Bring
You
it
can go
on.
right through 'em.
Because
Different sets of grandparents. Maybe
Yes.
they have two. How does the person at the other end call okay, my mom and dad over here and my in-laws over here,
Yes.
how do they connect to them? Is it going to be as easy as just, you know, hitting their face, you know, a little
Yes.
mark, like you do on, you know, like on a message app or something? You
Yes.
can just hit the person's name.
I love that
Okay, so there's 3 questions
are so
there,
tech savvy. And what we did is we have, you know, for 5 years, a cadre of the top professors in computer science coming up with how to break through all that complexity.
Okay.
So here's the answer. The answer, with a whole bunch of work in creating it, your first question is, how does it get set up? Set up, it's a done deal. Like when we gave my mom an iPad, it was just from the beginning. It was too much for me and too much for her to set up. So we have what we call a 90-90 rule, that a 90-year-old can be using and enjoying the GrandPad in 90 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So you can either go to grandpad.net or call a phone number that I'm happy to provide.
Yeah, I think I have it here.
And then the adult child, let's say, who's ordering it, then has it shipped. So when it, and through my simple telephone, I have put on it, when it arrives to me as the 90-year-old, with no twisties, with one finger, I can open it up. It arrives, and my kids' pictures are already on here. I can press a button and get right to my daughter in Florida.
Wow.
So that's about the setup. The setup is that it's no setup. It's already set up through the incredible sophistication. And then the second question is, I too have my parents and my in-laws, and so with the same app, I'm able to connect to both of them.
Okay.
So I'm sending pictures to both, and I can do that singly, or I can sometimes I'll send them different ones depending on, you know, one side of the family wouldn't think it was a good idea to go on an extravagant vacation, and the other ones might. So you can customize it. What I've learned is that seniors are more different and unique and strong than any other age. So every GrandPad has to be unique. So your music, your games, your context. It's not a one-size-fits-all, and we really customize it to that.
All right, we're out of time. We'll have to have you back and talk a little bit more about it, because I want to find out about updates. And I know there's a monthly cost. I think it's $40 a month.
Yes.
You buy the device, but it goes through a cellular company. So we'll get more on that maybe next time when you come on. But you can get more information on grandpad.net. The number is 1-800-704-9412, right?
Perfect.
All right, Carrie.
Thanks for your great work.
Take care. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Brian Rott, President and CEO of Cartmart here in Laguna Woods. My family's been in the golf cart business since 1959, and we win our customers over with the simple belief of we treat you right. We are proud to be the authorized dealer for Club Car here in Orange County and your go-to source for the sales and service to other major brands. We're conveniently located on El Toro Road, just minutes from Laguna Woods. So come by and see for yourself, while when doing business with Cartmart, there's no reason to go anywhere else.
Well, you know, I just can't get enough tennis, so I have to bring you another tennis opportunity. We have Rebecca Brown, who's the Director of Programs and Outreach for the Michael Chang Foundation. And they have a great tennis tournament coming up where proceeds go to a variety of different charities. So we're going to have Rebecca tell us a little bit about the Chang Family Foundation and also the tennis tournament. So let's talk a little bit about the Chang Family Foundation and how that started.
That got started back in about 2001, and it was a way for Michael Chang, who was the French Open winner in 1989, and he still holds the world record for the youngest person to ever win a tennis Grand Slam. Wow. And that'll be a tough one to ever be broken. But he and his family decided to start a foundation. What could they do for outreach? And in various ways, to put their Christian faith into action, because they are all about how do we help people, how do we make a difference. So this foundation over the years has grown. It used to be really focused overseas in Asian countries, but over the years it's recently moved back to this Orange County area. And pretty much most of what we do is here, right here in the community in Orange County, advancing the game of tennis, helping the underprivileged, helping the homeless on the streets and getting them off the streets and into shelters and back on their feet.
Okay. And then the Chang Foundation has now, I know the tournament's been going on a while too, right?
That started in 2011, and every
Okay.
year it's gotten bigger and better over the years, and it's turned out to be one of California's largest adult USTA tennis tournaments since 2011.
Wow. Well, let's we're actually looking at the exhibition match that I know is going to be coming up here.
Yes.
So before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about, you know, Michael and his family. I mean, they've been playing tennis forever. I mean, Joe and Betty are, what, in their 70s now?
Yes.
And I know we talked last time when we were at the other tournament that we promoted, the Michael Chang Cup that we had out at Kodo. And so one thing that I think is really nice is this tournament doesn't just promote young people, it's also promoting older folks to play too. You said that 75-year-old played last year?
Yeah, and actually there's a lot of older people, and now in tennis, seniors 55 and over, and so that's people our age.
Right.
And a lot of people still like to get out there and play tennis. And tennis in its heyday was when we were young. So now that heyday group is a little bit over the 50 crowd.
Right.
And so we draw in a large number of people in that age group. And last year we had winners in that age group that were beating out the younger people in various divisions. So we welcome them with open arms for sure.
Well, right. So let's take a look. I've got some pictures that I know we're going to show. So you had all ages, and there is some statistics about you know, the age groups. Like you said, you had some winners that were like in their 50s. There was a lot of women and men that were in their 50s, actually over 50.
Yeah,
like 55, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and in my tennis experience playing in Pacific Sun leagues and USTA leagues, I go up against a couple of women in their late 60s and late 70s, and yes, they were amazing in their youth, but they are still top in the league in Orange County and beyond, probably at the late age of 60 and 70.
Right. Well, we had a tournament here not too long ago that was the super senior division. So it was 75, 85. I mean, it went all the way up to 95, and it was just amazing. So I'll never complain about playing singles again.
Right,
my current age,
and then how it hurts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, here's the statistics now. So tell me a little bit about these statistics.
So those are the statistics of one of our tournaments. So total players 560, and that's in 2.5 short days.
Wow.
So we book them back to back, starting on a Friday at noon and finishing up Sunday night.
Okay.
We had 123 players over the age of 55 participating. 73 were male, 50 female, and our oldest player was age 73.
Right. Now the difference, though, between the super senior tournament that I was talking about is you said there's no senior categories, right?
Right, and that's kind of been a new thing. I don't know if you had heard, but the Tournament Adoption Guild, which has been around for over 40 years, they actually added a senior division this year. It's 50 and over, and offered cash prizes for those who participated. It's something that we've contemplated, but because we try to squeeze this big tournament into 2.5 days, it's actually, do we have enough courts to make it happen? At this stage, we don't. But as we were meeting last night, we even talked about maybe we should be doing some kind of a fun senior tournament or adding something like that to our calendar.
Okay, tell me how the tournament works.
Well, you have to be a USTA member, which is pretty much the case with most tournaments if they're sanctioned. And people register through our website or through the USTA site. And we have varying divisions, from open players who might be world-class professional college players, etc., down to the beginning level of 3-5, where you have a little bit of tennis experience, but not a lot of history. And then we have singles, doubles, and mixed doubles.
Oh, you do? So all three categories. And you could be. It really is. It's really more about your rating with USTA versus your age, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And then I know you said that you play in various places. So where will you have the tournament?
The main hub is Newport Beach Tennis Club, because they have 19 tennis courts in one facility. And then because the first day we have so many people, we're starting off with a crowd of 550 players, and it is single elimination. So by day 2, we've dwindled that number down, and we can be at one site. But the first day we add Palisades onto our sites. Sometimes we use Los Caballeros, Newport Mesa, the country club, we use some of their courts. So some of those are close by facilities, like within 15 miles, to get the first rounds going.
Okay, and then prior to the actual tournament, there's going to be an exhibition with Michael Chang, and is this his protege?
His protege, Kei Nishikori, who's been #1 in Japan for 8 years, and The best way to describe Kay and get an idea of who he is they say he's like the Elvis of Japan.
Oh.
He cannot walk around anywhere in that country without being mobbed by all sorts of people.
Wow.
So when he comes out here and we advertise that he's in the area, we grab a huge following from him. So we sell tickets to the public for the exhibition match, which is on the evening of the 21st, of Saturday.
Right.
And we've probably already sold like 220 tickets, and we still have probably about 7-8 weeks until the event.
Okay.
That is also a day that we really spoil our sponsors for the Michael Chang Tennis Classic. So we serve them a courtside dinner, we have table service, and take care of them during the exhibition match, and then we have public seating as well.
And then that's at which place?
That will be at the Newport Beach Tennis Club. They have a beautiful sunken center court. So we can have, I think, up to like 800 people in there.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Oh, perfect. That sounds very exciting.
It is. It's always wonderful. It's always packed. It's always very successful. And the guys are entertaining. You know, it's almost, someone described it the other day as like the Harlem Globetrotters of tennis.
Oh, fun.
Because they get out there and they play some great points, but then they will shoot balls so high in the sky you can't see them, or mess with each other at the net, or pull a kid out to serve a ball. And I mean, it's just so entertaining. It's fun.
That sounds great. And then you've also got the tennis tournament, which will be July 27th through the 29th, right?
Correct.
Okay, and signups are where?
Signups are on changtennis.com or on the USTA site. And if anybody has any grandchildren or what have you that are in high school, we have a high school division too.
Oh, great.
And that runs at the same time at a different location.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. It was really nice
Thanks
to
for
have you
having
on.
me. Thank you.
And I definitely want to come out and see those guys play.
You
and
will
then
love it.
Maybe participate too.
That would be fun. Thank you.
All right. Thanks again. And if you want more information about the Chang Tennis Tournament, you can go to changtennis.com, right?
That's correct.
Okay, good. Thank you. We'll be right back.
Welcome you today to the greatest generation in aviation celebration, to a time of glory, a time of victory, most importantly, a generation of heroes. It is that era and those bigger-than-life heroes that we honor with this incredible facility. Thanks to a dream long held by General William Lyon, that proud generation of remarkable planes, pilots, and wartime victories has been captured in this magnificent museum.
Welcome back. Well, another passion of mine is aviation, and as you just saw, that was the grand opening of the Lion Air Museum. I have Mark Foster, who's the president of the Lion Air Museum, with us today to tell us all about all the fun things there are to do there. Well, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're welcome. I really like the Lion Air Museum. I've been there a couple of times, and as I mentioned, aviation is starting to be a big part in our family. So tell me a little bit about your history and how you got involved in aviation.
Well, my personal history, I kind of started off like most kids do in junior high and high school, motorcycles and cars and all that neat stuff, and had a friend who introduced me to airplanes, so started hanging out at a place out in the Inland Empire, and it was vintage airplanes, and so I started learning more and more and seeing things like the Baa Black Sheep TV series and the planes that actually were filmed for that show. We're out there in Chino. It got me pretty excited, and so I started volunteering at a museum, got into aircraft restoration, did a little bit of the college thing and kept doing more aircraft restoration, then got into management, and before I knew it, I was flying and working on airplanes and managing things and doing air shows and blah, blah, blah. And it was a lot of fun.
Right, so you had a lot of history there, and so your love of aviation brought you to the Lion Air Museum.
It did. It started off with the physical flying part that I was attracted to, but then when I started meeting all the people, particularly the veterans who had flown in the military service and so forth, that's where my passion started to shift and started taking on more of the historical side of it.
Okay, and so tell me a little bit about the museum itself.
Well, the museum was founded by General William Lyon, and General Lyon was, he wanted to be it's kind of funny, he wanted to be a Navy pilot in World War II, and he didn't pass the physical for the naval, to be a naval aviator, which is kind of funny, deviated septum. Got it fixed, went on to be a civilian flight instructor training, get this, Navy pilots.
Oh, funny.
And so that was kind of funny. And then he was able to get picked up with the Air Force. And it turned out, the physical thing was just, it was nothing. And so he ended up, flying, at that time it was, the Army. He got commissioned and he flew a lot of missions around all over, delivering airplanes all over the world basically, and then stayed on in the Air Force Reserve. So that led him up into becoming chief of the Air Force Reserve in the 70s. So, so he's stationed at the Pentagon, and, and he was the highest guy in the Air Force Reserve.
Right.
But his passion for aviation and also education throughout that whole journey was always there. And so as by then a home builder, he'd been a home builder. He started his home building business in the 50s while he was still a reservist. And he started flying himself to different locations, and he started buying vintage airplanes. And when he got into the vintage airplanes, he thought, hey, we got to really share these with the school kids. And so that is what led to wanting to found Lion Air Museum.
Now, when we were talking earlier, you talked a little bit about some of the aircraft that is at the museum, and you have a few planes in there?
I have a personal one, the 01 Bird Dog, which is a forward air control type airplane, a little observation airplane. But currently there's 9 airplanes parked in the museum. 2 of them are guest airplanes, one of them is mine, and the other belong to Lion Air Museum.
Now, we're showing a photo right now of kind of an overview. So tell me a little bit about what we're looking at.
Nice photo there. A couple of our great docents right there. So the B-17 Flying Fortress in the corner, it's a 4-engine World War II bomber. It's probably the definitive bomber of World War II. That's what led the, doing all the missions into Germany during that time. So it carried a lot of bombs and so forth. And then you see a couple of Duesenbergs in the foreground there, and that's part of our rotational car exhibit we can probably talk about in a bit. And then I'm not sure if the slide's going to change, but there's a wing of a B-25. So it was over there.
We're sort of going fast.
Yeah, well, that's okay. So this is a DC-3, American Airlines DC-3.
Right.
It's a late 30s design. This is a C-47, which is the same as a DC-3, but the cargo version. And so that's what you would have seen during D-Day in World War II. Black A-26 Invader, that type of airplane flew in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, so through all 3 wars. And then you can probably see in the way background, there's silver airplane there. That's an advanced trainer World War II called a T-6 Texan. And just about all the guys who flew any of these airplanes would have flown
Probably started in that, right?
Would have flown the T-6.
And you also have some other fun things.
You got some military vehicles, motorcycles, some pretty historically significant vehicles in there as well, and that really helps tell the whole story.
Okay, perfect. And then I know you said that education is super important, so start with, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit on the docents, because when you go there, like there's some of the motorcycles, so when you go to the Lion Air Museum, there are docents who walk around and can give you kind of a guided tour and some history on each of the items there, right?
Yeah, without the docents, the airplanes and the vehicles, they somewhat speak for themselves, but that's as far as it goes. We really need these guys to make it all, guys and girls, to make it all work out. And highly knowledgeable in aviation history, and particularly the history of the greatest generation, which is the guys of World War II and then moving forward in the other wars. When you come in as a visitor to the museum, you have the option to walk around and on your own, but the docents are there. We have about, on our staff, about 80 volunteers, not at the same time, but they rotate. So, we're open, 10 to 4 daily, 7 days a week, and we have that coverage. So we'll have anywhere from, 2 to 7 or 8 docents on site, each day. And so people come in, they get to meet these guys, and that's really the experience you get when you get to hear the personal stories, their personal stories. And I mean, they're unbelievable. And I like it when you show up at the museum, it's kind of like a chance encounter. you know, you ever go to a restaurant, you meet somebody and they're really interesting and wow, you have a lot in common, family ties or whatever. When you go to the museum, it kind of feels like that. You start talking to somebody and you get that real personalized experience, and they can speak to a lot of different facets of World War II. Yeah.
Okay. Now tell me a little about some of the events that are over the summer as well as fall and year round.
Yeah, well, summertime we do the car exhibit. We usually feature you know, a theme. It's a car theme, and we're doing this one, vintage motor racing. And the reason for that is because a lot of the guys, the greatest generation guys, came back from World War II, and they had all this energy and, you know, maybe this daring, and they wanted to get into something interesting, so they took on the automotive, you know, like racing. And it really developed with a lot of the guys using the technologies from the aircraft, using, you know, of course some of the pilots and the mechanics who worked on the planes ended up doing teams and so forth. So we just wanted to tell that story as well, and it gives just a little something different when you go to the museum, see something a little different, brings everybody together.
Right, and then you also, sometimes you bring the planes out on the line, right?
Yeah, we do the history on the flight line days. We usually do about 4 a year of those, and we have visiting airplanes. They come in from all over Southern California. They're mostly our friends, and they usually have, you know, let's say a dozen or 2 dozen. It looks like there's some pictures there.
Yeah.
And the neat part about that is the pilots usually hang around on the flight lines. It's just for the middle of the day, and they hang around, and people can come up and talk to them about their airplanes, and the pilots are always really excited. You know, pilots and air crews are excited to share their stories.
Well, you don't get to do that often, really, anywhere. So I think this is a really great opportunity. So if people want more information, they can certainly go to your website. Is that lionairmuseum.org?
You have it.
Okay,
and that's
perfect.
Lyon.
Right,
Museum.
right, lionairmuseum.org.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. This is very great. Thank you so much
well,
for
thank
all
you.
the information.
It's a lot of fun. We could talk about it all day.
I know we could. I know we could. And they're telling me, okay, time to wrap it up. So I do appreciate it, and maybe we can have you back again, or we can come on site.
Yeah, that would be great. Come out and go flying with us.
I would love to. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So don't forget, if you want to see some vintage aircraft or learn all about the history of aviation, you can go to the Lion Air Museum. And if you want more information, that's the Lion Air Museum with a Y.org. We'll be right back after this.
Hiring a realtor you trust is the first step in selling your home. Selecting an escrow company that can safeguard your money and personal information throughout the transaction is the next step. Escrow Options will guarantee the safety of your personal information and funds from the risks of wire fraud and cyber theft. Choose the escrow company that works for you. Escrow Options Group, protecting consumer assets in escrow since 2005.
It's your retirement. How will you live it? How will you be remembered?
Will you be able to take me on vacation? Will you be there for my ball games? Will you teach me your values? You'll be able to play with me. Oh, help me go to college. How will I remember you?
Have the retirement you dream about. Contact us today.
Hi everybody, I'm Sean Thomas. Sports Talk. Come join me here every Thursday morning at 11:30 a.m. for sports news, highlights, and interviews for all of Laguna Woods and around the world. Put it on your calendar. It's a great way to start your day with me and the Sports Talk way.
Hello, Laguna Woods. My name is Rick Bradford, and I am the pastor of Saddleback Church of Laguna Woods. I would like to invite you to join your friends and neighbors right here in Clubhouse 5 every Sunday as we worship, as we enjoy a free breakfast, and as we learn from our pastor, Rick Warren, the author of the best-selling book, The Purpose-Driven Life. Please be assured that you will be warmly welcomed at either our 9 or 11 a.m. service. I look forward to meeting you personally.
So unlike anything we've seen. Murder was now going to be an acceptable part of entertainment.
Back, And we are going to tell you about the movies coming up. And you know, Lisa, this first one, it's a documentary, and it's about the famous scene in Psycho.
The scariest part of the whole darn thing.
Yeah. Now, I said this the other day, I don't know why it's called 7852 Hitchcock shower scene.
So the shower scene is super scary, and it is one of the scariest parts of the movie. It's Hitchcock's shower scene, and that's going to be on Friday, June 29th, and that runs about an hour and 31 minutes. Amazing that you can do that. An unprecedented look at the iconic shower scene in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, which was from 1960, the man behind the curtain, and the screen murder that profoundly changed the course of the world of cinema. Super crazy,
yeah,
but I like that.
I'm thinking that the numbers refer to the scene number, take number, or something.
Oh, right.
Who knows? But it looks that's going to be a good movie. Now, if you folks remember, a while back there was the movie Tomb Raider. There was the
that was Angelina
original
Jolie, right?
Angelina Jolie. Lara Croft is the character, and it's based on the video game. Well, this is a new version of it that just came out recently. In fact, it may still be in theaters in some areas. And this one stars Alicia Vikander. I haven't heard of her before. But if you know the Tomb Raider movie, it's certainly an action movie, almost an Indiana Jones type movie. It's the best way I can describe it. And it's so it's action, adventure, fantasy, and she must push herself beyond her limits when she discovers the island where her father disappeared to in her search for her dad. So again, kind of in that Indiana Jones vein. Good movie. I remember the other one with Angelina Jolie. That was
a long time
ago.
It's been a while. It's been a while. So
yes.
So how's that weather looking now?
Well, you know, the weather, I keep saying this, I love this weather because we start out the days cool, the evenings get nice, and yet the afternoons are ready for the beach or pool. So as we saw yesterday, we got up to about 79, 80 degrees. Same thing over the next few days, just depending on how much fog that we get in. But overall, just some nice weather. Now you're going to tell us what's going on for tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow we have Brian Gruner with Recreation, who is going to talk to us about the 4th of July celebration that we have coming up next week. We have Terry Moore, who's going to be here and talk about the OC Fair and all the fun things you guys can do with your kids and grandkids. And then we have Brian with Cartmart, who's going to hopefully tell us about maybe some new stuff they have going on. And we might also have another surprise, but we're not sure. So you'll just have to watch tomorrow to see what that is. So have a great day today.
All right, take care.